Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hello everyone. In this video we'll be covering higher order functions, and that is just another buzzword in the realm of computer science, which means literally that we have the ability to pass a function into another function, and maybe that function can do something with that function, or maybe a function can return another function, then we can use that other function to do some stuff. So without saying much, this is Mohammed, and let's start coding. I already went ahead and created a new file called main, and in this file we will be creating for today multiple functions, and as the name suggests, higher order functions require a lot of functions, so let's start doing that. We will create a function called cool, and that cool will take a name as an input, a variable, and then it will output a string. This is so cool. And then at the end of the string we will append the name. So to return a sentence, this is so cool, and whatever it's given to it, the variable that's given to it. Now we will create another function called bad, and let's give it a name as well. It will return the same sentence, however we will change the sentence slightly, and here we'll put bad. This is so bad, and whatever the name is given. So let's start using them. For instance, let's say we want to use bad on this name mojito, which is a string, and we have this is bad mojito. We try it with we try the cool one now, and then we get this is cool mojito. Now these are the basics, and you already know most of these stuff that I already said. However, what we're going to cover today is how to pass one of these functions to another function, and how to retrieve one of these functions as the return value of that function. So for example, let's create another function called build function, or choose function. Choose func, and this choose function will take a category or a genre, let's say, which is a string, and we'll check if this genre is equal to, for example, let's say cool, the genre is cool, then we return the cool function. Notice that we only return the function, we don't use it. If we call the function like this means we are going to use it. The function will start evaluating, but we don't want to use it, we only want to return it, so we can use it when we call this function. So this function will return this one, and let's go with another. If the genre is, for example, bad, or if the genre is whatever, then we return bad. So let's use this function, and to demonstrate that, let's create another variable called chosen function, and that chosen function will be choose function, and then we will give it the genre, and let's say for now we want to return the cool function. Now the chosen function here, this variable, will be substituted with the cool or bad functions. It depends on what the chosen function, the choose function will return. So in this case, we will return the cool because we said, okay, we want the genre to be cool. Then we are checking if the genre is cool. We're returning that the genre is cool. Then we're returning the function that corresponds to that genre. And here we are storing it in a variable. So here, this one is the function itself. And then we can use the function same as if we were using it like this directly. So let's try to run it. And as you can see, this is cool. Now let's say we want to do something here, gibberish, and we return this is bad. We get this is bad. And that was mad. But before we end the video, there are a couple of things that you need to know. First of all, regarding the function signatures, we already know how to define a function signature for this one. We just say the name of the function, double colons, and then what the function will take, which is a string, it will take a string, and then what the function will return. It will return a string. In this case, we return a sentence, which is a string. Now, the bad also takes the same thing. It will take a string and return a string. Let me copy the name so I don't forget it. Now, what is the signature of a function that returns a function? And for that, it's a bit complicated. First of all, we write the function name and then double colons, and then we write what the function will take. For example, here we take a genre, which is a string. So it takes string, and so far so good. It's as we are used to. However, what will it return? Because after this arrow, we have to put here the type of the thing that this function will return. And in this case, we will return another function. We will not use it. We will return another function that can be used here, or can be stored in a variable then be used. So for this case, we write parentheses, and we copy the function signature of the thing that we want to return. Notice that both of these are of the same signature. This function will not work otherwise. It must be the same signature. So far so good. Now let's try to run it again. This is so bad Mojito, and let's change it to cool. We get this is cool Mojito. Now why are we even using this? Why this complicated way of returning functions based on, for example, a given string or a number? Let's say if this is an integer, let's say this is general, maybe general, let's call it general number, and the general number is equal to 1, which is the best general in the world. We return cool, and here we'll give it 1, and then we return this is cool. Now why do we have to return, why do we have this approach? The main reason of having this approach is actually to choose functions that we are going to use during the runtime of our program. Let's say this one is changing within the run of our program. Let's say the first click, we have an application that if the user clicks on a button, we return this is cool. If it clicks on the button again, then we return this is bad. So we try to make it dynamic. During the runtime of the application, we choose what function that we are going to use. And this is the main reason of why do we have higher order functions, to choose functions dynamically. Now, we can also have a function called use function, and that use function, what it will do is that it will take a function as an input. It will take one of these two functions as an input and will use it. So it will return a string because these functions over here return a string. Now let's try to use it. Use function, and let's for example call it give it the func or the function, and we will go with the func and we give it Mojito, or apply on Mojito. Use function on Mojito. So here it's expecting a function, so we can call that function with Mojito. Let's try to use that function. Use function on cool. So I'm going to use a function. Let's delete this one. We don't need it anymore. So we're going to use the function cool on Mojito, because when we call this function, the cool is substituted instead of this place, instead of this variable, a placeholder. And that variable is the function itself. So we will call the function cool under the scene if we do that. Let's try to run it, and this is cool Mojito because cool is substituted here, and then it's used here with Mojito. And this whole thing, this whole function, the use function, will return this is cool Mojito. Same goes with the bad. We can just pass the bad, and we have this is so bad. And that's it regarding this video. A bit of complicated topic, I know. It requires a bit of practicing. Maybe I'll refer something in the description. And that's it. First, if you made it this far, congrats. Now you know what to use a function, a higher order function, how to use a higher order function, which is just a concept of a function, taking a function as an input, and maybe returning a function as an maybe returning a function as an output. So in the next one, we will have types in clean, algebraic data types, abstract data types. I hope you will enjoy it. Thank you for watching, and salam.